completely different subject. There's a man who's got tongues wagging around Western Australia because for some time now the Perth Glory have been, this season very, very unfortunate that things didn't quite work out the way they'd have liked with the previous coach, Alistair Edwards. They parted company, of course. But Kenny Lowe came up and he's now got the job certainly through to the end of this season, it would appear. And he's captivated the audiences and because he's a passionate bloke. And he certainly is one of these guys who likes to wear his heart on his sleeve in terms of his passion, and one of those passions is football. We decided we'd find out a bit more about Kenny Lowe as people start to learn the name. Thanks for joining me, Kenny.
Morning, Gary.
Now, Kenny Lowe, you were born in Billingham in England. What sort of house did you grow up in?
A very active house. I had a brother, a younger brother, and a younger sister. Mum and dad, obviously. Working class family. Mum ran a bookies. It's always interesting, I guess, if your mother runs a bookies. And my old man was an engineer. Like I say, younger brother, younger sister. Very sports-minded. Mum and dad were right into the football and the sport, any type of sport. And both were characters, if you want to call it so much. There's always a giggle and there's always a bit of fun around the house, you know.
And as a kid growing up, obviously, was football your number one?
Yeah, massive, yeah. My kid brother was really good right across the board, cricket, rugby, football, but I was focused on football. My kid sister, very, very good netball player. I think she captained England for 15 years.
Wow.
I think last year Irene van Dijk, the New Zealand international, broke her caps record. And I think later on in life she was fortunate enough to get an OBE from the Queen for services to sport. So quite a sporting family. But like I say, that comes from my mum and dad.
But that comes out of a working class environment. And it still goes to show that with the passion that's there and the drive and the ability, you can get out of any situation and get on the world stage, can't you? Yeah,
big time. I think when I was younger, I was fortunate to get offered an apprenticeship with Blackburn Rovers. And at that time, your parents had to sign off on the forms. And my old fella said I wasn't good enough, and he wouldn't sign off on the forms. So I actually went to YCI and served my time as a pipe fitter welder instead of being a footballer. I didn't speak the old man. I didn't speak the old man for about 6 months. But looking back, he was probably right. I probably wasn't good enough. But
did he do it because he was thinking of your future, or did he do it because he thought you weren't good enough?
Yeah, I think a bit of both. Like, looking at it now, it's worked out all right. You know, I ended up going through college later in life and getting an honours degree in mechanical engineering. And so later on in life, when I actually did get a chance to get back into football, and when I did come out of football, I had fortunate enough to have two routes for a career, you know. Did
you want to be a professional footballer first and foremost, though? Once you'd got your qualifications behind you, did you decide that's it? Now I want to go and play for Manchester United.
Yeah, well, I don't know about Manchester United, but I remember going through school and thinking, I don't need to work here. I'm going to be a footballer. And I actually left school with nothing. I left school with a CSE, one CSE. I think it was a no-level equivalent at the time in technical drawing, because I thought I was going to be a player. But the old fella just went, nah, son, you're going to work.
How hard? How many kids are there like you in England that wanted to be a player?
Thousands. Like, it's funny, you know. Like, when I was lucky enough later on in life to play at Birmingham and Stoke at a good level, you know, I used to go to watch the games on a Sunday, go with the lads to the local club and have a beer with the boys and say, oh shit, I've got to go to work tomorrow. You know, I was a footballer. Those lads were engineers or miners or worked on the railway, and they used to look at me cross-eyed. Yeah. That's not work. Yeah. You're not going to work. You're going to play football, you know.
Were you ever one of those kids that went off the rails?
Nah, I mean, I was like passionate, dedicated. I mean, we're very fortunate. I don't know if you read books like Bounce and other talent identification books, you're reading there about the top people who become whatever they become, and they say 10,000 hours of purposeful practice. And you look back on your own life and say, well, outside of our house, there was a big technical college with 5 football fields, and I'd get up at 8 in the morning and come back when the sun went down. But there'd be 30 of us out there playing football on the field. And if you went in for your tea, you'd lose your spot. You'd come back out and you'd be stood on the side of the pitch for an hour till someone else went in for their tea.
In some respects, you're self-taught when you've got that environment around you, you learn just through experience.
Like all the boys who played in that, Sean Gregan, captain West Brom. I've got a couple of mates who went to Ipswich and went to Man City, all out of that group. Dave Robinson played at Notts County. That's all out of our little group of footballers from 4 streets. It's quite amazing, really, looking back on that.
Okay, now, you obviously moved on. You went on, you played football at some of the clubs around England at different levels. You've played at Wembley, though, haven't you?
Yeah, I played at Wembley, I played at Anfield, Old Trafford, I played, Battersea, Stefan Effenberg, you played at Arsenal, Bergkamp, all those guys, but started off at the beginning at Billingham Town, just a local club. Just a local non-league club.
Could you make enough money out of football back then? You personally?
Possibly not. I was at probably the time I was at Birmingham. It was probably the biggest club I was at. Our highest paid player was probably Danny Wallace, who was at Man United. Danny, I think, was on 2 or 3 grand. It was just before the Premier League kicked in,
Yep. Now, obviously, you get to a point as a player. How old were you when you went, well, that's it? Boots, hang them up.
Oh, I hung on for grim death. I was about 92. No, I finished. I think I was 36, maybe 35, 36 still at Birmingham. I had 18 months left on my contract, but I knew I wasn't going to play, and I just wanted to go back to work.
Yep. And so you went back into engineering, into the engineering world. Yeah. What was it that brought you to Australia, and when?
I came here originally in 86, 87, America's Cup year. I'd been playing for a club called Hartlepool, and I'd been released as a kid.
But they're rubbish, Hartlepool.
Yeah. Don't tell Jonathan Cook that. He'll be steaming into the studio now. So I was there as a kid. When I was serving my time at ICI, I actually went as a part-time player at Hartlepool. So I worked and I managed to blag 2 years pro when I was 20.
Yeah.
And I got about 60 league games in by the time I was 20-year-old, which is a fair amount for that age. But they released me, no money and stuff like that. I split up with a girl, the usual sketch, and I was probably a bit down, and I was playing a representative game. And some guy after the game in the bar, someone called me and said, "Do you want to go to Australia?" It was the middle of winter, there was about 2 inches of snow on the ground. It was in Northumberland, up near Newcastle. And this guy approached me and another guy I was playing with, and we chatted to him a bit more. It was a guy called Matty Pearson who ran Spearwood Dalmatina in the State League. And the lad Paul Gibbon and I. Paul's still here. Paul stayed, came over and stayed with his family and everything. And when we came out, I had 2 years here. It was an absolute ball.
And loved it.
Oh, yeah. I met some great people. America's Cup time, so it was... I took my liver and kidneys out and left it at the airport and picked it up on the way out,
All right,
such a good time.
Well, that's a good place to end it, because we're going to come back to what happened with you in Australia after that. 92211882. If you've got any questions for Kenny Lowe, I'm more than happy to put you through. He's the, we get to ask questions at press conferences and whatnot, and usually he gives frank answers. So I'm sure he will this morning. If you'd like to join us here on Eye to Eye, 92211882. It's 10:15. Robbie's on the line. I think it might be Robbie Dunn. Robbie Dunn, how are you?
Yes, it is me. Good, thanks.
We got you. Now,
You've got no work to do, Robbie.
Oh, Kenny, you know me, mate. I'm still waiting for the call-up. Hey, Kenny, look, it's fantastic seeing you back there. I'm a big fan of yours and the coaching level, and I've had the pleasure of working with you for a little time. But, look, say Sagey doesn't give you the job at the end of the year, or say you do stay there for another year or so. Is this going to be the end for you, or are you going to do what you should do and keep going, whether it be interstate or overseas?
No, I want to coach, Rob. I mean, I've had opportunities to this year alone to go to A-League clubs, and also maybe into one of the elite level institutes over east, and it just wasn't right for Nick and the kids. I've got the 5 kids and the missus, so I'm not exactly portable. But as a head coaching role, mate, I want to coach, Rob. It's something I really enjoy. You know that from our time together at the Glory, where we used to have a quiet glass of wine after games and chat about what we think. You know what my passion is.
Robbie, from your experience, is he the man for the job right now?
Well, look, they always have the cliche or the old comments, they tick all the boxes, and I think Kenny's got the ability, A, with the senior players, which might have been missing from previous guy. I'm not knocking Alistair in any way. B, obviously the young kids love him. C, he's got a lot of people behind him in WA, which is a big plus. And D, he's got, he's just able to handle himself, I think, at any level in the media and with anyone out there that want to get involved in the game. I just think he's a great front man for the club, finally.
All right, well, there you go. Robbie Dunn's given you the seal of approval there, mate. Thanks for that, Robbie. Robbie Dunn, obviously, he's played for Australia. He's played at the top levels. He knows what it's all about. Can I ask you this? How important, I mean, when you do front the cameras, I mean, I'm jumping ahead now, you basically came back to Australia and you've started a family, you've got kids that were born here as well, you've got 5 kids, I'm sure one of them will end up becoming a professional footballer. But when you do go in front of the camera to answer the questions that you cop at the end of a game or before a game, how much of what you are going to say do you think about beforehand?
I think you always try to go in there with some structure, because you can look a little bit stupid if someone throws one at you and your mouth's just wide open and nothing comes out. So, yeah, I do think about it. But I think ultimately there's just 2 things: just be yourself and be honest. Yeah.
And can you still afford to do that in the game of football?
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, I'm brand new, so I haven't been tarnished yet. You know what I mean? The cynicism's not there. I think I'm not guarded. I'm quite open. I guess eventually I'll get burnt somewhere down the line. But again, you know, if you get burnt, you put that in your locker, decide who's burnt you, if you're being burnt for the right reason. Is that a positive? And maybe use it as a positive instead of a negative.
Can I ask you whether you think that your persona is perhaps... your character, your passion, and perhaps your humour is something that Glory did need at this time in terms of getting the public on board again?
I'm not so much sure about the public, because they can't control that. Some people will like your humour and your honesty and your passion, and other people actually won't. I think the biggest thing for me is the dressing room, is to go in there and make everyone feel valued and cared for, and that when they come to the work they enjoy themselves. And I think any environment that I've kind of worked in, whether it be engineering or football or even at home, if you've got those values, you care, you have some fun, and you're adding value, then everyone has a good time. And all the black clouds, there's no black clouds, it's not pissing down on you. Oh, can I say that?
You just did.
It's not raining on your head, you know. So yeah. That's what it's about for me. I just try and take that honesty and that fun and spread it around.
Do you, when you're not at training and when you're not involved in match day, what do you do, Robbie?
I'm still, it's football. If you ask me, I actually got this job, and my missus was panicking because she thought I'd be home at 5 o'clock, because I'd go to work and do the NTC, and then I'd come home at 10, maybe 4 nights a week. So that's why me and the missus get on, because we never see each other. Yeah. So she was panicking, thinking I'm going to come home at 5 and mess up all her schedules and everything. So I actually said, please tell me you're going to keep the NTC job as well, so you don't come home. Yeah. You know. So.
But what do you do?
It's just football, full stop, non-stop. If I'm not, if
don't play golf.
If I'm no, I don't play golf. I'll watch the game, or I'll be coding the game, or I'll be doing game analysis. It's sad, isn't it? Now I've said that, I'm actually just thinking that's a little bit sad.
Creepers, you know? Mate. Now look, one thing I'm told that you're very, very good at, and that's recognising talent. But when you're talking the A-League, obviously these players have already made it through to that kind of level. What is it about you that gives you the ability to see a kid playing football and think, hello, he could be the one?
You know, it's not me, it's the kid. We just put a structure in place, and they follow the structure. Yep. And the values that hopefully we pass on, they take with them. Yep. It's not what we do, it's actually what the kids do. They buy into everything we do, and because it's the same as anything in life, if you get success from it, you believe in it, so then you apply it. And the kids seem to see that they get success, you know, and they apply it and they use it, and they just go from strength to strength. We've got, I think this year, I think it was October, November, December, January, the A-League, NAB Young Player of the Year have all been young West Australians nominees.
No, it's been a great year.
Storm Roux, Trent Sainsbury, Adam Taggart have all been nominated for the A-League Young Player of the Year, and they've all come out of the programme.
All right, John's on the line. G'day, John.
Hi there.
How are you?
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
He can. Kenny can hear you loud and clear.
Well, a friend of mine rang me up and said, oh, you've listened to this bloke on the radio, so I'm a big Birmingham City fan. So I heard him mention Birmingham, think, hang on a bit. I don't know, because I've been at it since 79, but I went missing in the 80s because I was travelling around Australia, and then I just noticed a blog from my friend Alan Watton. Alan Watton's an academic in Birmingham. He said, I remember thinking about what a player this guy was. His goal against Charlton was a sensation. And his back heel to Ricky Otto to score at Anfield was superb.
Wow.
It's got here that Kenny was a mini legend. Now, for Alan Watton, Alan Watton's a cricketer. He's just a guy I know. I went to school with him, to be honest with you, in Birmingham. But for Alan Watton to give you that praise, you must have been a bit of a player.
To be honest, I should have done a lot better than I did if I wasn't a little bit. I don't know. I was a bit funny as a kid. I've grown up. I've got a little bit better, you know. I was arrogant. Can I say I was arrogant? I think that's probably the nicest thing I could say about myself. I probably got more managers sacked than ever. But now I'm on this side of the fence. I think it gives me a better perspective. I wouldn't like to have probably managed me as a player.
I mean, do you remember the back heel on Anfield? It looks like you had the back. Do you remember it?
Yeah, I poked it round Big Ruddock. And then I poked it round Bab, and then Ruddock come and I backheeled it just to get out of the way, honestly, because he'd have smashed me. And then Ricky smashed it in the top keeper's top left-hand corner.
There you go.
Yeah,
just like it was yesterday. Thanks for that, John. Going down memory lane there. I bet footballers do that. I know my dad, as a football coach, certainly does relive those moments.
Yeah, I think so. It's funny, he's just pulled up the only 2 games I ever played well.
Are your kids footballers?
My boy. I've got 4 girls actually, and
4 girls and a boy.
But right. The boy's more of a girl than the girls. Believe it or not, you go past the window and he can't. But anyway, that's another story. No, Rory's good. He was in the stateside when I was the coach. He was in the last 25, and we had to pick 18. Yeah. But I didn't pick him. we had a couple of better boys. Yeah.
All right, we'll grab another call from Clark. G'day, Clark.
Yeah, hi, mate. Hi, Kenny.
Hi, Clark.
Just got a query, mate. When you're relaxing, what music do you listen to when you're relaxing?
I'm actually a massive Jam fan.
Oh, yeah.
I'm huge on the Jam. Used to follow them all over the UK and everywhere. Had all the picture discs, all the albums. And when I come to Oz, I said to my brother, look after them for me. That's a full set. Don't lose them. Keep them in your loft. So I was away for a couple of years, and I come back, and he'd flogged them. He'd made a couple of quid.
They'd be worth money now.
Yeah, big time.
All right, thanks for that, Clark. Before we let you go, now you've got Western Sydney this coming up, haven't you?
That's right, yeah.
Right, okay, you're sitting 6 at the moment. This could make a big difference. I just looked at the fixture, the ladder, and I couldn't believe how many 5s are in there. You've played 15 games, you've won 5, drawn 5, lost 5, and you've had 15 goals against and 14 goals for. You're playing Western Sydney. Just quickly, what's your view? You've come from England. You know about that hooligan mob mentality that certainly did taint British football for a long, long time. We've seen some problems with Western Sydney and Melbourne Heart. Are you worried about it?
I'm not worried about it per se. I was going to the game, but I'm worried about it for the game, if you know what I mean. That over here, what I really like about it is that you can actually see intermingled colours in the stadiums, you know, a little bit of banter, a little bit of fun amongst supporters, but also kids and family and staunch supporters actually mix.
Yep.
It's a wonderful environment. You know, I was fortunate enough to go to Western Sydney the other month, and it was just an absolute joy to be there. You know, there's a load of Japanese people in the crowd because of Shinji Ono, and it was absolutely a sensational environment. Really was.
Well, let's hope that
I hope
doesn't
they don't lose it.
Yeah, and we hope that we don't see more of what was going on off the pitch and out of the stadium, etc., because that's where the issues can breed. Look, I really appreciate coming in, Kenny. I know that you're a busy man and you've got training every day of the week and so on, and you're preparing and you're hoping to keep the Glory in that top 6 position so that you make the finals. Good luck with it.
Cheers, thanks. I've really enjoyed it today.
All right, that's Kenny Lowe, the coach of Perth Glory. Perhaps you've learnt a bit more about him. No doubt you'll still see some of his funny one-liners in those press conferences after the game. Let's hope he doesn't tone that down, regardless of the results. All right, coming up after the break, we've got Julie Meakin here, dietitian, high-performance specialist. If you'd like to speak to her about any issues in relation to your health or how you think you're going fitness-wise, 92211 882 is the number to call, 10:30.
After the sold-out